This is a video to explain how to develop a pattern for two intersecting cylinders. Now, we've already done two intersecting cylinders, but we did it where they intersected at a 90-degree angle. Honestly, the procedure is really the same for intersecting cylinders at an oblique angle, but it looks a lot different, so I'm going to go over it with the video. Now, a couple of things I want you to notice. First of all, I've already drawn a couple of wheels, okay, to help us with the development. Now, if I were to move this one, okay, it would be like that wheel goes with the vertical cylinder, okay, and notice where point 10 is right now, and I'm going to bring that back up in a moment. And also, this wheel goes with the angled cylinder. Now, the distance from here to here is the same as if you took a line and drew it perpendicular, or from the point here and drew it perpendicular to this line, okay? So for example, that length is 5 and the length from point 7 to 1 is 5, okay? So that's where the wheel is actually trying to represent. It's not, you wouldn't do an elliptical wheel here. You would just do this shape and rotate it, okay? And in this case, the line running from point 7 to point 1 is parallel to this line I just drew, okay, which I don't need, but that was just for illustration purposes only. So these two wheels are actually working together to help you develop your pattern, okay? Now, I asked you to remember where point 10 was on this wheel, and it corresponds to this point here. Well, point 10 from this wheel corresponds to the closest part of this angled cylinder, the closest part to you as the viewer, okay? Whereas 4 would be the furthest away. So point 10 would actually lie right here and as close to you as possible, okay? And here's where it would be in the top view. And what we're going to do, we're going to use these two wheels to develop our pattern. But the first thing we have to do is to find our line of intersection between these two objects. So that's what we're going to work on first. So I will just start off, and I'm in my construction layer, and I will draw a line straight out to the left here from my point 4. And then I will copy to my endpoints. Now, I'm only going to these points because if you extended these lines to the back of the circle, they would intersect at these other points here. Now I'm going to use MA for match properties, and then I will make these the correct color. And what I want to do is I want to trim it as soon as it intersects this cylinder, okay? So I will trim off the excess. I'll just erase that. And from those intersection points where it intersects the front edge of the cylinder here, I'm going to draw some lines straight down. Okay. And it really doesn't matter where they end, but I'll go ahead and trim these off at the bottom here, okay? And again, I'm going to use MA for match properties. And you can see, like the blue and the green goes down and intersects this green as well. Blue intersects the blue here as well, so on and so forth. Okay, so that's the first part. Now we'll do the same thing from this wheel. Okay, so I'll type in L and then PER. Okay, now I want it to be perpendicular to these lines here. Okay, so I'll just draw one just out in space right now. Now make sure that you construct your wheel properly, because these lines should be parallel in other words, if I were to move the line I just drew, okay, it's perpendicular to the line between 7 and 1, but it's also parallel to line 4 and 10 and the center line of the cylinder, okay? So be careful about that. And you can see that it perfectly overlays the center line that I had drawn earlier, okay? So let me copy that line around to the different points on the wheel. Okay, let me use match properties again. Okay, so now what we have are some intersection points. We have magenta crossing magenta, blue crossing blue, so on and so forth. So I'm going to use the spline command, and I'm going to start off at the top, okay, and that's my intersection points from my 7 point off of this wheel and my 7 point off of this wheel, and from there I just work my way around, okay. So my next point will be my 8, okay, so same thing here, and then 9, okay, here's the 9 line, 9 here, and then 10 off of this line as well, so we go to 10, and then we'll go to 11, which is the 11 is the same line as 9, okay, so it's the 2 green lines crossing, blue and then magenta. You can just follow the wheel around, and when you get to the end, hit return 3 times, and there is the line of intersection between the two. And let me turn the construction layer off just for a moment. Actually, let me change this to my visible layer or object layer first, then I can turn construction off. Alright, and that's what the line of intersection looks like between the 2 cylinders. Now, we're obviously not done, but we are well on our way, and I think this video might be running a little bit long, so I'm going to go ahead and cut this one off, and we'll pick up again in video 2.